Good afternoon. This is Jagaban TV, going through the electioneering and transition process of the Edo State governorship elections. Godwin Obaseki has emerged as a governor-elect. The APC has won the day. Today we are speaking with the state chairman of the All Progressives Congress in Edo State, Barrister Anslem Ojezua, who has steered the party from strength to strength and has clinched the victory for the governor-elect. He will speak with us about the challenges, about the tribulations, the ups and downs of the campaigns, resulting in the declaration of Godwin Obaseki as the governor-elect. It is an informal conversation between the chairman and us, his audience. Please meet Barrister Anslem Ojezua.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Sir, a lot of people are curious. It was not necessarily a very easy story. It's not necessarily a very easy process of taking Mr. Godwin Obaseki and working with him as a relatively unknown political personality to becoming the governor-elect of Edo State. How did you manage that feat?
Well, you know that there are quite a number of variables that come to play when a political contest is afoot. One is to have a good product. The other one is to have a solid team. And then the most important is to have the goodwill. Here we were, APC was the party in governance. We had a governor like Adams Oshiomhole, who is a national brand. And we had a plethora of projects, a lot of achievements to show for Oshiomhole's presence in government. And so all that, you know, came to, or put to bear on our fortunes. It may be true that Obaseki is not necessarily known as a political personality, but he was not a stranger to our system, considering that he was chairman of the economic team over the period that Oshiomhole was governor. And to that extent, having regards to his critical role in Oshiomhole's government, it was easy to sell.
Well, sir, that explains quite a bit. But how else did you manage the opposition within your party? Because it was quite stressful, I would imagine, and you had very stiff opposition, being that you were the party in power at that time. And a lot of people felt that once they had clinched the tickets at the primaries, it was an automatic governorship victory guaranteed. How did you manage to resolve the conflict within the party and the different aspirations and yearnings of other aspirants?
Well, I think the simple way to go about it was just to be obedient to our rules. If you don't compromise on the rules and the processes, then of course the integrity of the process is established and you don't have a choice. In my position as chairman, I was not allowed to show my preference one way or the other. My preference was the constitution of the party. We insisted that we must go according to the rules. And you have to understand that the responsibility to carry out that process essentially is that of the National Working Committee. And they appointed the committee that came to conduct the primaries. And the process was in accordance with the guidelines given to the committee. was transparent, it was peaceful, it was free, and it was fair. And to that extent, it was difficult for anybody to fault. And that is the reason why, even though we had 12 aspirants going in looking for the same position, as at the time we finished, we had one victorious, but we also had the other 11 rallying around him, you know, in the general, in the elections proper. I think that the only way that could have been achieved, two things. One is the fact that the process itself had integrity. And the second one is that immediately after the primaries, we set machinery in motion to achieve reconciliation. And to a very large extent, I would say we succeeded. And because of that, we lost nobody. Whereas our opponents, who went with only 3 people, they had to separate into 3 different parts.
Sir, you have just said that you did succeed in using your internal conflict resolution mechanism to bring everybody together. Now, how is this going to translate in the next administration? Because you're the chairman of the party. The party should have supremacy over the ideological position of government. How do you think that this will translate in the next government with all the different tendencies of the people who aspired for governor? They have, toed the line, elections are over, the new administration is coming on. How do you think the party is going to manage the expectations of all these different aspirants at that time and their teaming followers in the next administration?
Well, again, the simple secret would be to establish a set of rules, or if you like, guidelines, and then be faithful to them. If, for instance, political appointments are to be made, naturally you are going to expect that the political leadership in the various locations will have a role to play. For instance, if a commissioner is to be appointed from a particular local government, you expect that the leadership of the party in that local government, which will necessarily include the people you are talking about, because for those of them who have aspired, you know that they may have expended quite a lot of resources in the process of going around looking for support. They must have also made a lot of friends along the lines. And therefore, they will have a lot of influence on a lot of people. But once you have an institutional set of rules to which all of us, including myself, who is the chairman, will be, subject, everybody will fall in line, including the governor. Once we make rules, so if we are expecting that people will make nominations, we will give guidelines. The governor will set some level of guidelines so that we will have an idea of the quality and types of persons that is required to fit into the government in order for him to achieve those things that he has been mandated to do. So there has to be that level of interaction between government and the party. The party will play a major role to the extent that the party leadership will be the ones that is expected to come up with the materials by which the government will be formed. That is my expectation. And I am hoping that as we proceed in that, they are able to reach a consensus. The reason being that where they fail to reach a consensus, the governor will be obliged to pick somebody.
When you say that they are able to reach a consensus, who are the they?
Party leaders and officials.
Okay, sir. Now, do you see this party, the All Progressives Congress in Edo State, do you see it as a vehicle? Obviously, you see it in the instance as a party that will achieve what you have set out in your manifestos and so on. But do you see it as a vehicle, a vessel that can translate Edo State into a very globally prosperous entity? And how do you think that the party will play a role in this?
Well, I have no doubt in my mind, about the capacity or the capability of the party, because you can truly now say that we have been tried and tested. Don't forget that this is the party that came up with Comrade Adams Oshiomhole, who has performed so creditably well that even those who are not from Edo State acknowledge that he has done well in all facets of governance. He has shown that so many things are possible that some of us, including myself, did not think were possible in Edo State. He has created an economy where there was none. He has rebuilt, or at least created a framework for getting things done which never existed. He has been able to sustain a relationship with the World Bank, which is a rare phenomenon in Nigeria, having regards to the inability of our leaders, to exercise what is called fiscal responsibility. He has been able to achieve a situation where our people are probably is like a breath of fresh air. He has laid foundation for the growth and development of Edo State. And on the basis of that, I have no doubt in my mind that we can only build on that foundation, which is the promise that we made going around the state